This is where we need to discuss the reciprocal nature of immigration. So in other countries, if you're an American and you want to move abroad, you can go live abroad and you can live in some condo where we see these videos all the time, right? They always come across social media where it's like, oh, hey, I live in this country and it only costs me five cents a day and I live like a king and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, that's great. And as long as you're bringing money to that country, right, from outside of their country, they view you as a customer in their business of the country, if you think about it in these terms, right? When your money runs out, however, then what does any normal business do? If you don't have any money and you're in their business and you're just there, what does most normal businesses do? They say, well, hey, you're loitering now. You kind of need to, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, right? And that's the reality. That isn't discussed, is that as long as you're bringing, American dollars that still have some quasi value in those countries relative to their third world shithole country, then that's how that works. They're okay with you being there. If the money runs out, and I promise you this, if the dollar were to collapse tomorrow morning, virtually every one of those countries would kick Americans out. They would. They'd go to Americans and say, oh, you're still here? Yeah, man, you need to get the fuck gone, man. I mean, it's been real, it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. You need to get up out of here. That's exactly what they would do. They'd kick Americans straight out of their country. So, because you're no longer a net benefit to their economy, right? What's an economy? Just people. That's it. So you're no longer a benefit to their people. Okay? It's the definition of fake friendship. I mean, think of the U.S., right? I mean, how many countries are like, donating a bunch of shit to help our people from the hurricane? Yeah. That's how we have to look at this. So when it comes to the people coming here and they're saying, okay, hey, great, I'm going to be part of the American economy and so on. Well, we have to look at two problems with this. Number one is that the country you come from, are Americans allowed to do that? Probably not. They're probably not allowed to go there and start taking a bunch of jobs from the locals in that economy, because that country would take exception to that. They would say, hey, hold on, we have people here that need work. Well, Americans are in the same exact boat. I mean, how many videos daily are being done? How many tens of thousands of videos daily are probably being done by Americans going, dude, what the fuck? Why am I... I'm applying to all these jobs. I match all the skills. I check all the boxes. I do have 30 years of actual experience, and on and on and on. And they're still not able to find work. But the companies are still able to buy a bunch of H1B, hire a bunch of H1B people. Yeah. It's a wage issue. They're just trying to keep the wages down for the domestic population, because otherwise it'll expose inflation. That's it. That's the reality. If American companies had to hire American workers to do all this stuff, right? Everything from gardening, right? No more guy with the leaf blower. No more, no. Now you have to hire Americans to do all that stuff. If you had to do all that stuff, what would all of that shit cost? It would cost a fortune, right? Not because the Americans are greedy. Americans are no more greedy than they've always been. Just like business people have always, like, everybody's greedy. That's just how it is. No, it's because there's too many dollars chasing too few goods and opportunities, or too few goods and services and too few profit opportunities. That's all it is. They pump too many dollars. It's counterfeiting. Okay. So when you flood the economy with a bunch of worthless dollars, then it's going to give the illusion that everything costs more. Well, yeah, of course it does, because you counterfeited the money to worthlessness. That's what's happened. So they have to keep this idea of perpetually lower and lower wages. So to your point, it's like, yeah, the economy would hurt itself. Yeah, of course it would. It should. It should. That's actually a lesson that people need to learn. So yeah, I mean, no, the H-1Bs should be deported immediately. They should be cut off. No more H-1B scams, no more H-2B visa scams, no more work visas at all. Should be cut off and send everybody back home. The other side of that also, this is the part that is not talked about by almost anybody, is what does that do to those other countries if you take all their best and brightest? That's another problem that isn't really discussed very frequently, because Americans are selfish, and most people are selfish, and that's how we are, right? Well, what does it do to the other country if you take all their smart people, right? If you take away all their smart people and you bring them over here, well, then what did you leave that country with? Yeah, see, that's a problem. And other countries once again, other countries do point this out. It's just that you never hear, nobody ever hears about it because it's not, they don't want the media running away with that story. So you'll talk to, every now and again, you'll talk to demographers. The demographers will come out and talk about this kind of stuff, but it's in the academic sense because most demographers are just pure academics, right? These are all tenured professors, and nobody bothers to read any of their white papers. Who the hell? That shit's boring, dude. No, you're doing a brain drain. You're taking away all of their smart people that those countries actually really need. Those are the people who actually help bring about change and do make their countries great. But if you just brought them all here, well, that's good for mega corporations, but that's not good for the average American, once again, who needs to have all this inflation exposed so that way the dollar can collapse. We can have real price discovery, because price discovery has to actually occur. And right now, we don't have price discovery that's honest. Now we have everybody. That's why everybody is still going, why is it that we're building these garbage houses that are put together with sticks and shit? And they're falling apart before people have even moved into them. They're falling the fuck apart. But people are paying $1.5 million for these pieces of shit. Yeah, that's exactly right. So overall, it is not a benefit, right? We have to have price discovery. All of that shit should come way down in price. And then all of that malinvestment gets cleared out. All the bankers go bankrupt. All the fake billionaires go bankrupt, which almost all of them are fake billionaires now. Maybe Getty and a few others are still real billionaires. Everybody else, they're fucking fake. All of this shit goes away. And then we have honest price discovery. And then from there, you build up from a foundation after you've, dealt decisively with your bankers and your politicians that have caused all these problems. So I hope that answers the question.